Alrighty, Kat. Back on the road after a big home win. How's the group responded after a great performance, a big result? Obviously the Christmas weekend as well, a bit of time for rest and relaxation and getting back to work.
Yeah, 3 points is a nice present, isn't it? No, we're really pleased with the performance and obviously just as much the results to get those points before a 3-day break. Girls have had some time to reconnect with their families and friends, recharge over a 3-day break, and then we've headed into a really nice progressive overload throughout the week and tapered off the last 2 days ready for our trip away.
You obviously, we got the big win in your first game. Couldn't back that up the following week. Yet to win consecutive games this season. So how important is it to use that win against Perth to create some momentum, build into this week against Canberra, and make sure we put in a similar performance?
Yeah, like I've said over the weeks, we've been trying to instill our principles. It's always going to take some time for the girls to overcome some challenges and some new concepts. But I think with that being able to translate from the training pitch to the match, we're going to see a little bit more of that consistency coming over the next couple of weeks with our performances.
I spoke to you a little bit about Chloe post-game, about her performance, her impact. Obviously, she had the winning goal, but just in general was a fantastic game from her. She plays her 100th game in the competition tomorrow, which is a fantastic milestone for her. So just a word on the achievement of her reaching her 100th game and the impact that she's having on the group here.
Yeah, I mean, her impact's significant. We've seen that on the pitch over the last couple of weeks, obviously, since I've been here. But more importantly, the impact she's had off the pitch with her leadership. You mentioned 100 games, that's an amazing milestone, but with that comes lots of challenges, lots of highs as well in terms of what she's had to endure in her journey as a footballer and 100 games in the A-League. So for her it's really pleasing. For us it's amazing. We get to, I guess, experience that milestone with her. We know that everyone plays well together and for each other. That togetherness is huge at the club. So we'll be going out there to put on a really good performance as a team, especially for one of our leadership players in Chloe.
You mentioned that leadership and the culture. It's something that, in particular, this group, as well as the men's team here for the last couple of years, have really preached at this club. Obviously, we talk about Chloe, but looking across the board at so many leaders, so many players with experience in this competition and abroad, Grace Ma, TJ, etc. How impressed have you been coming in and witnessing that and seeing the bond and the togetherness and the drive from within the team?
Yeah, very, very impressed by it all. I think there's that winning mentality, and that comes from, I guess, the experience you have when winning. And they're driving and knowing that, you know, what's delayed isn't denied at times. You know, there is ups and downs, and knowing how to get through different phases of a season. I think those experienced players can bring that from wherever they've been around the world.
Coming up against Canberra then, travelling to the capital. They've sort of had an interesting season so far, a few games where they've scored a lot of goals. Last couple of games, I think they've been kept scoreless. What have you made of them so far, and how can we attack them and get the win?
We go into every weekend giving due respect to every opposition, but like I've said before, we'll focus on ourselves and what we can do to impact the game and take control. That's been our focus this week. Inconsistent results for them in the past, but you know, a team that was very close to finals last season, so you can't, you know, discount any team in this competition with how they can turn their form around.
Talk about experience in our ranks. They've obviously got Michelle Heyman, a huge player for their club and across the competition. Vesna Milivojevic has been a quality player as well for the last couple of years. How do you sort of view them as, you know, individual threats and how we can combat that?
Yeah, I think we'll approach the game with our structures, with and without the ball, and I think that's enough when we do it well to cater for any of those individual talents. But again, we need to be very disciplined in what we do, and obviously we have threats of our own.
And just final one, this obviously the last game for 2023, then we turn the calendar year, and it sort of feels like as soon as you switch over to January 1, that's sort of when the lead into the end of the season, I guess, begins. Obviously you've had a few weeks here, a couple of really good results. We've shot up the table a few places since you arrived as well. So beyond this game, moving into next year and looking ahead to the rest of the season, how excited are you for what lies ahead, and I suppose what sort of foundation are you looking to lay with, you know, like I said, building on last week's win as well?
Yeah, obviously we want that consistency with our performances, and you hope that that performance is good enough to get the results. We know how things work in football sometimes. You know, through my experience, I've learnt never to get too high, never to get too low. And you can reflect each week. You're never as good as you think you are, you're never as bad as what you thought you were. So we'll go in again, we'll focus on ourselves, we'll make sure that every player is prepared with their roles and responsibilities, mentally, physically, tactically, psychologically, and we'll approach the game each week with, you know, knowing that we've done the preparation on the park leading in.